Hi, it's Ben with Prometheus Game Labs here, and I've got something very exciting to share with you. Let me tilt my camera down here. This, not my coffee, is the sample for 99 Ninja that's just arrived, and I'm going to share the unboxing with you. So this is going to be my first time looking at one of the factory samples, and I'll show you through everything that's going to be coming with the game. There might be a few changes depending on how things have come out, but you might already have seen the video that I shared on Facebook perhaps a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week or so ago, where Hirsch from Hero Time Manufacturing, who's doing all the printing, shared a video of this particular sample. But now I have my own one that I get to play with and see how everything has come out. Nicely packaged, as you can see, taking me a little while to get into it. Okay, I think we're in. So at least I know the box should be in good condition when I open it. Okay, so here is the box. It's just got a little protective wrapper over it, I think, for the transport on the sample. If you saw the samples that we had at Essen or elsewhere, you'll notice that this box is actually a bit smaller, just because the sample boxes were a bit easier to produce with an existing template, but these ones are the same size as Microdojo, so it will fit exactly on your shelf and also fit for the cheap shipping in that large letter size that I've aimed for with all the games. Now I do know there's one surprise inside which you won't have seen during the campaign. Here's the box, the colours have come out really nice here. And the first surprise that I know is here is inside the box lid. So we've moved the score track inside the box lid, which I'm quite excited about. A, because it means we get to make more use of the components. The box is actually, part of the game, so really maximising everything in the game that's being used. There's no empty cardboard even inside the box. But also because we changed from the transparent cards, or rather the sort of solid cards that you might have seen at UK Games Expo, we changed the Daimyo layout to these boards. And I'll get the boards out now. It's a little bit of a tight fit because we were having to push the margins by a couple of millimeters. So if you remember, these are now boards rather than cards that were shown in the first sample we had at UK Games Expo. So these have come out really nice. The cut lines are nice and clean, and we have different layouts for the Daimyo boards on the front and the back. There's also another change, which if you're very eagle-eyed you might be able to spot, which is the presence of these two tokens. If you can see here, I will punch them out perhaps in a little bit. We'll get this to focus. That is a favour token that's worth 0 points. We struggled during the development with balancing. I wouldn't say struggled, but we spent a lot of time balancing the end game, the final scoring showdown, and getting the numbers just about right to mean it wasn't just, obviously a blowout, but it wasn't also completely arbitrary how well you did in the first phase. And the numbers we settled on in the end were just about right. We tried making the tracks one space longer, one space shorter. But one thing that was a little disappointing was the favour tokens took a while to get because you couldn't activate all the power straight away at the start of the game, and we were trying to work out how we could let players do that. And then it sounds obvious, but we thought, what about a 0 point favour token? That way you can still use it to activate those powers, but still not affect the final game scoring. So we managed to fit that onto the punch board. That was a rather long explanation of why these are a slightly tight fit in the box, because we had to add a few extra millimeters on the edge to cope with the bleed. You'll also see that the basic techniques are now inside the box. So we've included a little space here where, when you spend your favour, you can place them here and then collect them at the end of the game for the final showdown. So actually, we're going to use both parts of the box here. We have the rulebook with the reference on the back and details on the front, and it looks like this is printed the wrong way, but it's not a problem, something we can correct in the final. So here's our nice rulebook with everything laid out. Can't tell you how many times I've reworded and reshuffled and tried to make this as clear as possible, whilst also making use of the space we have. So that I think is, we've got our how to play section here and how to score, and then on the back, rules for our modules and rules for the solo mode. Speaking of solo mode, let me get these cards out next. So these are our solo cards. You can see them here. Our solo cards. They're now all grey because we have the two sets, and you'll just switch out sort of 1A and 1B depending on the difficulty you want. And thankfully, with the new deck we've got with 7 and 7, it means we also always have an even distribution of these daimyo for the hit list module and for the solo scoring, so that's worked out really nicely. We have the cubes, very important. We have paper cards, so again, if you played the sample, you would have seen they're all printed on PVC, and they were a little bit transparent because it was just easier to print everything on PVC, whereas now we have these cards. These have come out beautifully. The colours are really, really rich, really nice, and the card quality feels good. And these are the clan cards that you're going to be using to switch between ninja clans. And we've also included something new here, which will make the game a little easier to play. These cards have a place to put your tokens, so this will be a little place to store your tokens in front of you whilst you're playing the game. And then at the end game showdown, these are going to flip over, and you can use these to place your tokens during the end game showdown, so you can kind of cover it with your hand and secretly place them. We found during a lot of the early games that it was a bit of a pain kind of aligning the tokens up with the track and making it clear. So now what you can do is at the end of the game, players can place their showdown card. I think I've got this one the wrong way, it seems. Players can place their showdown card and put the tokens on there for their end game scoring. So the last thing is the Micro Dojo promo, which is now on a separate punch board. This is just to make space, make it a little bit easier to include this board with the space rather than just the 3 tokens, and that's what's led us to be able to include the 0 favor token. This board will just make it easier to move these boardings around, so all 3 of them will be placed here in this space at the start of the game, and then as you claim them, you move them round to your side, and there's a little reminder that if you have 1 of them, it's worth 0 points. If you've managed to claim 2 of them, it's worth 1 point, and all 3 of them is worth 3 points. So this being on a separate board, thankfully fits into the box, and yeah, we've got a nice little board to go along with Micro Dojo. And then a reminder that these promos are for Micro Dojo, and managed to fit all of the rules onto the back of that player board. So this tiny little board and 3 tokens is everything you need to play the promo for 99 Ninja in Micro Dojo. And that's everything in the box. I'm really excited to be able to share this with you. Everything looks pretty good. Oh, there's one last thing, the most important part, which is the PVC cards. These have come out really nice as well, by the looks of things. If I hold this up to here, you'll see there's a bit of like cloudiness on them, and you might think, oh, they're not quite as transparent as I'd hoped. These come with a protective sleeve on because of the way that the printing works. So once you peel back this film, you'll see how much cleaner and smoother this gets. You could play with the protective film on. Of course, that will keep the cards lasting a tiny bit longer. They'll pick up a few less scratches, but of course the plastic does mean they're not quite as nice to play with. So up to you whether you keep the plastic on or not, or peel it off and have these nice clear cards. But that is something to think of when you do get your game. If you think, oh, the plastic's peeling off, it's just there for a protective layer. You can see how shiny this is. So that's it, that's 99 Ninja. I'll be giving some feedback to the factory, and the final production run will be happening incredibly soon, perhaps within the next week or 2. And before long, they'll be on a boat heading over and ready for fulfillment, so on its way to backers. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and look forward to having a real 99 Ninja with you soon.